All right, back today with another upgrade on the Transit, our Class B conversion. So when Ford was building these, they forgot some parts. So I picked up these front wheel well liners. You may have noticed if you bought a Transit and you look under here, just everything's exposed, and passenger side right to the water, the windshield wiper, washer fluid bottle, and everything. So get this ugly body seam, and it just allows water to just spray up everywhere under here. It makes cleaning it kind of hard, and sprays salt water if you drive in the winter and everything else. So luckily I had Ford Pass app credit basically from buying this van, and it was enough to pay for these, so I got these for free. But these are like between $200 and $300, which is insane because they're just a couple pieces of cheap formed plastic, but they do serve an important purpose of keeping the mud and junk out from under here. So not too hard to install. That's what we're gonna be doing today. Unfortunately, Ford does not make a set of wheel well liners for the rear, but an aftermarket company does. I'll have a link in the description to these. So I'm going to be installing them today. Looks pretty easy, pretty straightforward. But the first thing you want to do is I'm just taking a power washer and really getting every little bit of dirt and grime out of there, because we're going to be covering this up. You want to start with a very clean surface, especially if you do winter driving. Get in there with soap and water. Get any bits of salt, dirt, anything out of there. And it's a good time, if you have like one of these real extended ones, actually lay down and look up under the back of the van. You'd be surprised how much mud is in there. I recommend, see, I've got this really neat little sawed off pressure washer. That lets you get right up in here and turn it back towards the outside of the wheel well and really get the mud and dirt off. So once we get this cleaned up, we'll move on to the next step. All right, so we're going to start by turning the wheel inward on the driver's side here. These are marked left and right. So separated them. I got the left-hand one. Part number on here is LK4Z16F099A. These are somehow specific to the 2020 up Transit, but they make them for all the years. So this little thing goes on here. And so now we're going to take a T25 Torx bit and remove these Alright, so from this point it's not really rocket science. Kind of fit under here. Let me show you. So as you can see, that fits behind there. I'll go ahead and start this one just to get it held in place. And in the bag of hardware they give you, it says left and right. I'm pretty sure it's the same stuff. So take our little pieces here and just screw them in. All right, so I got to looking at this hole back here a little bit more, and it looks like it's just full of this factory like spray-on undercoating. So I'm gonna need to take like a screwdriver or something, try to work that undercoating off of there so I can get this in there. All right, so after a little bit of beating with a hammer and clearing it out with a screwdriver, I was able to get that in there. And then so this larger Torx that they include in the package, that is the T27. That's going to end up going there once we get the liner put back in place. All right, so a couple last fasteners here. So Ford shows that up in here you have to drill a hole, but on my 2023 there's already a hole, and it's just for this 1/4 inch fastener here. So that'll get pushed into there and clipped in. Again, we're still on the driver's side. Then the other way to secure these is they give you these little star washers, look like that. And there's some bolts that stick through. And you just go ahead and push those on there. And they will lock into place. And then there's another one right up here. Like that. Okay. And I'm not, I don't know. I mean, it's okay. They're okay. I thought about putting maybe one more up at the top here. There's plastic on the other side of this. Maybe drill in a 1/4 inch hole and just, I have some more of these from just on hand, and then maybe put one more right here just to keep water from spraying up in there. But I don't know. We'll see. I guess that's optional. Alright, so there's the bottom fastener. There's that one. The left side. The factory pin, and I added one more right here. So this side is done. Now we'll go to the passenger side. Alright, so over here on the passenger side, it's basically the same thing. The only difference is it shows this hole right up here. This will be the front, kind of lower section. There's this hole, and we'll see it should either line up with a hole in the frame, or we'll have to drill one and put another push pin in. But besides that, it's the same process of just putting on like this clip in the back here, which barely left me any usable plastic to clip it in. Alright, so like that. Same thing, take the screws out of the front and then get that plastic tab, clean out the spray on liner there and get that in there. Alright, so again, this side's all installed. I did add one more up here again. Not 100% necessary, I just like the way that feels. This side's a little more solid than the other one. This one was the really important one to me just because of everything that would spray up in here. Alright, so each side's labeled. This side has an R for right hand side. The other side obviously an L. They give you a couple of self-tapping screws and then this large push clip, looks like here. The self-tapping screws they give you, they're black, they're regular steel. Pretty much gonna rust and do all kinds of bad things. So I'm just gonna be kind of substituting these stainless self-tappers. They actually have a little, they're like kind of like a roofing screw, but they have a little rubber washer. Should hold up a little bit better. But basically we're going to remove these two factory clips here, just like a flathead or something. Just pop them and they pull out. And that's what's going to hold these two back holes here. And depending on if it fits or not, we may have to remove a little bit of this material just right here. Stuff's pretty easy to cut though with a pair of tin snips or wire cutters. Just only if it does not fit behind there enough for these holes to line up. Just keep that in mind. Then there's the hole at the front right there, which is going to correspond. It's in the frame. That's what that large push clip they give you for. Then they give you the two screws. If you look, there's a divot here and a divot here, and they want you to put the screw through that into the body of the van. Just understand, like think about what you have on the other side of that. Probably the lower you can go, the better. Just keep that in mind. In my case, the floor and the insulation and everything is above that level, but keep that in mind in your van. One other little touch Obviously, if this is a cargo van, it might not be necessary, but since this is our camper van, even though we sound deadened and insulated the wheel wells from the inside, when you're going down a gravel road, you can really still hear those rocks flying up and hitting under there. So this will help with that, but it can help a little bit more. I have some leftover, this is kind of like a hybrid Silas sound deadener. So it has butyl rubber and like a styrofoam. So I'm just gonna apply a couple sheets each, kind of to the top here. Just wrap it in a way that it won't get in the way of installing these. But I think, you know, I have 4 left over, so 2 on each side. That will just help add a little bit more sound deadening going down the road. So there's how that looks installed. Again, pretty easy. You can take the tire off, might make it a little easier, but you can also do it with the tire on, almost just as easy. Make it a little bit easier. Then ease off on it. Alright, so all around this edge, we're gonna pry out the best we can the factory plastic. We're going to get this tucked under. That's all that's really holding it in place, is it being under the plastic. And then we're going to have our fasteners in the couple spots. Alright, if you're having trouble getting these holes lined up, just use like a little screwdriver or something. Kind of pull the holes to where they'll line up. You can get your okay. So the hole's basically just already lined up. They give you the big clip. So the hole in the plastic is not big enough for the clip. Alright, so I was able to just take a little razor knife and just enlarge the hole just a hair. So I guess it'd be easier to do it before this was in place. So just make sure this fits through the hole in the plastic before. Now, get it through the metal in there. That's snapped in nice. The last step is going to be to install these screws. Probably could have got a drill. Alright, so once we got our 2 screws in, we're done. How this vehicle should have come from Ford. Maybe get some mud flaps. And should be done with the outside upgrades. Alright, so same exact thing on this side. That's all there is to it. Pretty easy project. About 15 minutes worth of work. And I'll keep the mud from getting just sprayed all over the bottom of the van. Set of mud flaps again, probably in the future, would really help. Hopefully, also, that's going to quiet down the off-road noise a little bit too. So I hope the video was helpful. please like, share, subscribe. I'll have a link in the description where you can buy. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll see you later.